Could Matthew Judon be on his way to Kansas City? Welcome into this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report Power by Chat Sports. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. ESPN, the worldwide leader so-called, has named the Kansas City Chiefs as the best fit for free agent edge rusher Matthew Judon to sign with in NFL free agency. Does it make sense for the Chiefs to bring Judah in? Let's start with this from Bill Barnwell of ESPN, who says the following: Judon is a sound, smart player. As he turns 33 this year, a new team would probably need to continue spotting him at a part-time role in an edge rushing rotation. The Falcons signaled their decision to move on from Judon by signing Leonard FL in free agency, but Judon should eventually find a one-year deal with a contender. Now, I'll say this when it comes to Matthew Judon: I've watched a lot of Matthew Judon over the years. I like Matthew Judon a lot, think he's been fantastic in his NFL career, but let's be honest for a second, he has lost a step. I think he's still good football player, but he's not what he used to be as he's gotten older, gotten a little more injury-riddled. It's the nature of the beast. We're all going to get old at some point, right? I'm 28 years old now, and sometimes my feet hurt when I get out of bed, like, it's just what happens. Right? With that said, he's still really good, all right. Let's not that take away from him and think that he's, some Joey bag of donuts at this point in his career. He still has something to offer, and what I find fascinating about Bill Barnwell bringing this up, I've been close to a year now, and it feels like that this has been an ongoing rumor for a while connecting Matthew Judon and the Kansas City Chiefs, that it feels almost inevitable at this point, like feels a prophecy of sorts, something prophetic that's out there. Shout, I guess, Kenneth Copeland or Benny Hinn B. White or some of those preachers out there, 'cause it feels like that we've been calling for this for quite some time, that event all the stars would align, prayers would be answered, whatever you believe in, whatever you want to call it, where this marriage would happen between Matthew Judon and the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs need edge rusher help, and Matthew Judon is looking for a Super Bowl ring. He's not going to command the same amount of money he once did at one point in his career. The Chiefs don't have a ton of money to spend. Connect the dots. Boom, there it is. Seems like that makes sense for both parties involved. Will it happen? We'll see. We'll discuss more coming up in just a moment, but first, here is your chance to be Brett Vok. I'm going to give you two options here. If you want the Chiefs to side Matthew Judon, hit the like button on today's video. If you are opposed to that idea, then I need you to tell me no in the comments section, and tell me why you don't want Matthew Judon. Weigh in and let us know. We are all over free agency here in the KC Chiefs Report. I know it's been kind of quiet the last couple of days, but that does not mean we're slowing down. We're covering every single signing here on the channel. No signing is too big or small for us. Here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report, we're bringing you daily news and rumors, sometimes 2 and 3 videos a day. We have our live shows on Tuesdays, breaking news, interactive Q&A, mailbags, and more. This is your one-stop shop for all things Kansas City Chiefs. Subscribe now for free. Turn on notifications. Getting very close to 70,000 subscribers on the channel, but we need your help to get there. Subscribe now for free. YouTube.com CHV. You'll be glad you did. All right, more on Matthew Judon. What has he done in his career? Well, that's where yours truly comes in. Matthew Judon began his career with the Baltimore Ravens and then went to the New England Patriots, and he really blossomed like the Cherry Blossoms. Great band with the New England Patriots, and Patriots, as they've rebuilt this thing, decided to move on from Judon prior last season, and he went to the Atlanta Falcons. After that, 4 Pro Bowl selections, as he played his best football from a 2019 to 2020 stretch. 2022 stretch when he went there 4 times in a row. And you talk about consistency. Judah's had 3 seasons with at least 9.5 sacks. Judah's a proven playmaker. All right, he has passed the smell test time and again in his career. And you look at the numbers. All right, he had a season-ending injury in 2023, but in the 4 games prior, he was on quite the pace. 4 sacks, which if he would have been healthy and kept that pace would have been the highest sack total of his career. If he would have gotten 17 prior to that, had 15 and 112 sacks. 2021 had 12-2 last year. First year back from injury, new scheme system. His numbers took a bit of decline, down to 5.5 sacks, 9 QB hits, 5 pass breakups, 7 TFLs, and 41 tackles. Here's the truth of the matter. All right, the Chiefs, they need some depth. All right, they need help on this defensive line. I love me some Chris Jones. I love George Gophus. They can't do everything. We saw what the Philadelphia Eagles did in the Super Bowl, right? It was a plethora of guys on the defensive line in their edge rushers that they depended on. Strength in numbers, as some would say. At this moment in time, the Kansas City Chiefs do not have strength in numbers on their defensive line. They need depth. Now, where does Judon factor into this equation? Well, I'm not going to ask Matthew Judon be a everyday player, a full-time starter in this Chiefs defense. That's just not reality here. He can be a rotational player, a rotational asset. I don't need him to play every single down. In fact, I don't want him to play every single down, because I want him to be fresh and healthy when we get to the end of season, when the games count a little bit more. That's when I really need him. And with these older players, you kind of take like a load management approach like we see in the NBA. Maybe you don't play them as much in the preseason or training camp. Give them some days off from practice here and there in the regular season. That's what you can do with Matthew Judon, because last year, look, he was fine. 5.5 sacks, 9 QB hits, but I think that age started to show. And if you're the Kansas City Chiefs, I think that you can work with him and be fluid with the situation where you can get the most out of him by not asking him to do too much and be there when it really matters towards the end of the season. Who's a player that Chiefs should S in free agency? Is it Matthew Judon? Is somebody else that comes to mind? Give me a name that you would like to see in Kansas City. Got a great deal for Chiefs fans, offering right now polos on sale for up to 50% off. Got the red gray stripes, all sorts of different poos for your like. And here's the good news, folks, they're up to 50% off right now. Well, supplies last. What are you waiting for? Get yours today. Chatsports.com. Chiefs Poos link is in the comments and description of today's video. We also have other Chiefs merchandise at that same link, Chatsports.com. Chiefs Poos, to get yours today. You'll be glad you did. Now let's talk money. All about the meme here, right? The very good news for Kansas City Chiefs who don't have a ton of money to spend, but they do have money. He is affordable. Spot Track is projecting